You ready for me to introduce everybody?
I can definitely do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Deadman's Tome. I am your guest host, the Church of Failure, and with me is Becky and our very special guest, Mr. Jason Davis. Jason, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hello, I'm Jason Davis. This is me. Hello?
Tell us who you are and what do you do?
I am nobody who does nothing.
Well, and that's the show.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out. It was great. Please definitely donate to the Streamlabs. Don't be modest, sir.
You know, okay, let's just say that my latest thing is I've been writing books for almost 10 years. And I've got a couple of trilogies that I'm trying to wrap up. Yeah, that's the latest thing I've been doing.
Cool.
Used to run film festivals. Used to run a few podcasts myself. So
wow,
I do a lot of things. So who am I is a complicated question.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into
that.
We'll definitely get into that. Yeah. All right. I'll stop talking over you, Becky.
I'm sorry. I have a few announcements. The first one is that we have an open call for Deadman's Tome. It is called Mr. Deadman Made Me Do It. And we're looking for short stories and flash fiction, horror, satire, dark fiction about Mr. Deadman, the urban legend that makes people do all sorts of horrible things. And you can find all the guidelines and everything that you ever wanted to know on deadmanstome.net. So, and then we have a new anthology out that y'all will want to take a look at too while you're there. Just scroll over to anthologies and books and check those out. So, now, shall we
just get into it?
Shall we talk about the news? Or shall we talk to Mr. Davis first?
Why don't we talk to Mr. Davis first?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you were working on a couple of stories, a couple of trilogies, right?
Yeah. I have two different trilogies that I've been working on. Both of them have the first two books out. One is my Invisible Spiders trilogy that I'm sure Becky will love.
I'm terrified of spiders, Church.
Oh, well, invisible spiders should be, like, the worst, then.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. They eat you from the inside, leave you a zombified corpse, walking around. You only get to see the spiders once you're already infected with them. So by then, you already, it's too late. So
yeah, you're already screwed by that time. Great.
Where can I order a dozen?
Oh. What, spiders? No! I am not telling you my address. You are not shipping them to me. No way.
What's the second trilogy, Mr. Davis?
This is where it gets a little more complicated to describe it. That is my Guardian trilogy.
Okay.
Both trilogies are a part of my Edge of Darkness series, whereas one of the main characters from the Invisible Spiders trilogy is featured. This is more his story, and it actually doesn't have anything to do with spiders or zombies. And so, yeah. Well, it's like with the Invisible Spiders trilogy, I am doing more of a pre-apocalypse where it's all building up to, the apocalypse.
Okay.
And the first book in the Guardian trilogy is before anything that happens in Invisible Spiders. The second book in that trilogy it takes place after the first two books in Invisible Spiders. So there's a certain amount of PTSD going on. And we're right before everything is about to break loose and go absolutely crazy in the third book of the Invisible Spiders.
Okay, so the universes are definitely tied together.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool that you do those, like crossovers.
It kind of started out as an accident, and then a funny idea that I just had and was just playing around with, and then it just all started tying together more and more. I'm actually working on a standalone book right now called Dead Friends, and halfway through writing that book, even though it doesn't share any of the characters, it started to pull itself into that universe.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and they kind of go where they want to.
Too. Yeah. So.
Cool. So
Then I try to get a little meta with them.
Which one of the books that you've written is your favorite so far?
Caught in the Web.
Now, is that the first one that you wrote?
No.
No, that's book 2.
I have a love-hate relationship with the first book I wrote. I hate it, but everyone else seems to love it. So.
Yeah. Oh no.
Can you tell us what that book was?
Well, that was Inside the Mirrors. That was the first book in the Guardian trilogy.
Okay.
And to me, I feel it's just a simple haunted house story. I feel like it doesn't have any huge twist to it. It's just, to me, it feels very plain Jane. Just, it's okay.
It feels like you could have put something better out, but you wanted to get the book done on by the deadline.
I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, there was issues with. I just wanted to get something out, and that's why the first version came out and had a lot of negative reviews because it wasn't properly edited.
Well, I mean, no disrespect
and a lot of
by
other
that.
Issues.
As a graphic designer, a lot of the times people will tell you just go ahead and get it out, and if revisions need to come, that's why they have editors. So, if something comes up, they'll work with you through it, but don't stress over something to the point that you obsess over it and can't get the work done.
Yeah, and I mean, after rereading it a few times, I do see what the appeal is to it. I see why people like it. I just have always, to me, I feel like Hatched and Caught in the Web are the best I've written to date. I've published. So that to me is more work that I'm just more proud of.
Well, and you can always go back and rework the first book if you ever wanted to too. So there's always the joy of that.
I'm thinking about doing that this year since this December will be the 10-year anniversary of it. I thought about I have an idea for a prequel short story that I'm thinking about trying to write. So,
and the other thing you have to think about too is you said, that's true too. You said it was 10 years ago, but you've grown as a writer since then too. So what you're reading now is when you were a young, lesser experienced writer. So when you go back and read it and rewrite it, it'll be totally different.
Yeah. So, like I said, there are certain things about it. It's the story itself that I just kind of, feel is just okay. I feel like the writing itself, every time I go back and read it, there are some of the moments in that book that are still actually some of my favorites. So I love it. There's one scene, particularly in that first book, that whenever anyone gets to it and they know me, I'll usually either get a phone call or a text saying I just laughed my ass off. So,
well, if I read this, am I going to cuss you because it has spiders in it? Is this going to scare me?
Well, the first Inside the Mirrors doesn't have any spiders. Now,
Oh,
if you
okay.
can make it past the first chapter and hatched, then I'll be impressed.
Oh, Lord.
Just make it past that first chapter.
Now,
I
while
was just reading the blurb on Amazon for it. And this is what it says. When you see them, it's already too late. You're already infected. It's the morning hours. The town wakes up to find that there is something spreading. Something that is not seen until it's too late. Because by then, you are already infected. At that point, they already hatched. Oh my God, I had the chills. The hair on my arms is standing on end.
I have this weird thing that whenever I write a description for my books, somehow, and it always seems to happen, the title of the book ends up being like the last line of my descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just happens every time.
I think that's pretty normal, though, you know? But it works, though. It works really well.
The
my
funny
God,
thing
that
about
cover.
that description is that is the brand new description that I just put up there yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I did that after listening to your guys' podcast with, what's his name, Brian Meeks?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm
and when
playing
he was
around
talking
with
about,
that one.
yeah.
So I updated 2 of my books to have a description kind of like he said, and then I left the rest of them kind of how I normally do it. So we'll see how his advice works.
Well, he knows his stuff, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And that cover, oh my God. I'm gonna have nightmares.
Which one are you looking at?
Have you seen the cover for Caught in the Web?
Hatched.
Oh, yeah.
With a big, gigantic, spider sitting on her head.
Oh no, the one with
the one caught in the web.
Where she's caught in the web and the zombie spider-like people are coming in on her.
Oh my God.
Now this.
Yeah, both those covers were done by photographer Jim Sorfleet, and he is a friend of mine in Chicago. He is just an amazing photographer, and I love what he did with those.
Yeah, they're great covers. Absolutely. Oh my God.
Now
that's creepy. That's really creepy.
While we're on the subject of covers, Jesse, Mr. Deadman himself, implored me to ask where you got the inspiration for some of your covers.
Do you have a particular one in mind, or?
Well, the first ones I think you've already explained. We were definitely impressed with the hatched and the caught in the web covers. The Cold Days, the Space Truckin' Book 2, Inside the Mirrors. That cover particularly we were curious about because that one is striking, man. It kind of haunts you.
Sadly, that one will probably be going away.
Really?
Well, as we talked about, I was planning on re-releasing that at the end of this year. Well, as that's now a part of the Guardian trilogy, I was going to redo the cover to do something that's similar to the Into Darkness cover.
Okay, and the introduction is Free Fall, correct?
Well, Free Fall is the introduction to Cold Days. Those 2 are linked, and those are just short stories that I work on occasionally. It's a sci-fi series that I try to put some time to. Warm Nights has been done for almost 6 months now, and I haven't revised it yet.
Well, it actually was the series that intrigued me the most when I first looked at it because I'm a big fan of horror and I love horror movies. I love horror books. I read a lot of Stephen King. I read a lot of horror comics, and a local author from around my tri-state area came around and wrote a horror series, and I collected it until I realized it was literal smut. It was about 4 books in, but you know how that happens sometimes. But but the thing is the idea of space truckers. I was just so kind of grabbed by that because I'm a comic book enthusiast. That's what I specialize in. And some of the best comic books in the '90s was literally a comic book about over the road truckers. And it's very rare you see somebody writing about trucking in any sense of the word, and I just kind of wondered where the origin
Well,
of space truckers came from.
here's an interesting thing. My short story anthology is currently free. I think until the end of today. It's called Last Exit.
Right.
90% of my short stories are all trucker based because up until May of last year, and since 2010, I've been driving one of those big monsters, driving down the road.
Okay.
So, yeah, I actually do. I have been a truck driver in the past, and so that is where the space trucking came from. Is I love sci-fi. Actually, I'd have to say, when it comes to movies over the last 5 years, and I think it's probably because running horror film festivals as long as I had, I just kind of got burned out on horror for a while.
Yeah.
Probably.
So I've been watching more sci-fi, and so I just wanted to do something more of a sci-fi spin-off, and so I just started thinking. I think I had just finished reading Neil Stephenson's Seven Eves, I think it's called. And it just got me thinking about just being that guy who's hauling back and forth. So that and reading the Expanse series. Both of those just got me motivated to try to write something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like that cover too. That's really pretty.
The Freefall or?
The space trucking for Freefall.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of your covers are just really good. They're different. And the fact that they all intertwine just kind of, well, not all of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I see a couple over here that we haven't necessarily talked about, like the Dead Walk and Volume 2. I'd really be interested in.
Those are actually those are just mainly anthologies that I put together, like your Deadman's Tome anthology.
Oh,
okay.
Where I got some authors together and we released, so Dead Walk 1, the Dead Walk 2. That was actually done while I was running the Dead Walk Film Festival.
Oh,
so
wow.
I tried to have that come out yearly, and they would be released at the same time as that film festival.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Which, as there was somebody pointed out to me today, that today is the 5-year anniversary since the first Dead Walk Film Festival that I put together.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I stopped doing that a couple years ago as well when I got out of doing film festivals altogether.
Right.
Cool.
Is that a?
I want you to tell me about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. After you, man.
I want to talk about the book, the storybook, One Bad Night.
That's actually one of my favorites.
That cover really is striking.
Yeah, the sepia tone. Yeah.
It's very eerie.
I remember when that was a Photoshop staple.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was trying to go for a very 70s feel on the cover of that one. Largely due to, I feel like, well, I'm not a big Spielberg fan, but I will say that one of my favorite Spielberg films is Duel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I wrote One Bad Night is basically Duel, but with two semis rather than a semi and a car.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And one of my favorite aspects of that of that short story, is if you drive a semi, you'll know that when you're going through the mountains,
It's
there's
deadly.
a huge difference between a semi that is fully loaded and a semi that has almost no weight to it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So as they're doing this battle of going back and forth, being able to play with that weight dynamic as well.
Okay.
As you think you're finally getting away from somebody, and but wait, they must be empty because they're catching up to you.
And
So
and that's 99 cents on Kindle, so you should definitely go check it out. I'll drop a link in the chat so everybody can.
well, it's also available. It's also the first short story that's available in Last Exit.
Okay. So actually,
isn't it cool?
what I'll actually go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and just drop your author page from Amazon in the chat if that's all right with you.
Right.
Go right ahead.
All right, there we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where you can check out Mr. Jason Davis and all of his wares. And absolutely is
I will say
100% something you should do.
I will say one of my favorite covers on there is actually one of my latest short stories. That's still about a year old because I haven't released a short story in a while. Is Death at Germantown.
Death at Germantown.
I just
that's the one with the revolutionary cover right there, the one with the flag and the looks like a musket crossing it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
zombies, Revolutionary War. Why not?
I'm looking at the description right now. It says on October 4th, 1777.
Oh wait, no, it's ghosts, but.
What now?
Yeah. Oh, it's ghosts, not zombies. But yeah.
Oh, okay. The description here says on October 4th, 1777, the Continental Army of the United States was defeated by British soldiers. Now that's just unrealistic, right there, sir. I'm just kidding. It is said that the defeat came about due to an intense fog that rolled in, blinding the American soldiers and causing disruption in General Washington's plan. But what was in that fog? What slaughtered the troops?
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That came about after I read. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, that intertwining with actual U.S. history, that's something very very admirable. It reminds me of like the Elseworlds or the What Ifs in DC where in Marvel in DC where you take something that's already happened in continuity and you just kind of twist it up. It's a very popular genre in pretty much all mediums.
Yeah. And that actually came about when I was actually reading the Hamilton autobiography, the one that the actual Broadway musical was based off of. And it just got there where they're telling the story about how that battle occurred and how that almost, really messed things up for, good old US of A. That just kind of blew me away about how that fog rolling in. And I just love that creepy idea.
That is eerie. Really, really. Okay. Bed bugs. Please tell me about this one.
That's probably one of my worst short stories.
Oh no.
I had that idea rolling around my head forever. And I finally wrote the short story, and I've never been happy with how it turned out. But on the flip side of that, not only is the picture an actual picture of the sleeper berth in the semi I was driving at the time, which is why it's probably one of the worst covers I have.
It reminds me of the old Goosebumps books from high school. in like middle school.
Yeah. But there's a certain part of that story about how for a long time I was actually being a mentor for new drivers going over the road.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you sometimes you get students that are just very, for almost 6 weeks, you keep trying to tell them to go take a shower, but they disappear, and you know when they came back, they never did.
Oh
And
my God.
That's where part of that idea came from.
Yeah, I noticed that it said that the description says when Mike left his latest student at the terminal, he knew that Dave was not truly gone. The smell would take a lot longer to get out of his cab. Mike didn't know that wasn't everything that was left.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew. No. Now, so that's where you came up with that idea for that book, was because you had a student that didn't practice good hygiene.
Just in case anyone in particular is listening, I cannot confirm or can deny that. But
I mean, you know, don't call the man out like that. It's very
I'll
common.
behave.
Everybody's had a bedbug story. Like everyone has that one person that they know that has had the experience where they pretty much had to set their house on fire because of bedbugs.
Really?
That's, I mean,
Um.
you have to destroy pretty much everything you own that bedbugs have touched. There is no getting them out.
Oh my
There is
God.
no killing them. There is no stopping them. You have to murder them all with fire.
I will say.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about spiders too. But you know.
Well, I mean, you know, after you burn a car or two down, you learn how to catch it in a cup. But go ahead, Mr. Davis. I
No.
apologize for interrupting.
Oh, I didn't. I was just coughing. I didn't actually say anything.
That's what we're all doing here, right?
Right, coughing.
No,
Yeah.
talking. No, he
Yeah,
said he
we're
was
just
just
coughing.
talking.
Oh.
Yeah, not saying anything. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No. Yeah.
No.
So I have a couple of questions to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
Some new ones?
Yes.
Yeah, actually. What was the first book that you remember reading as a kid?
Well, reading as a kid would probably be Dracula.
Oh, wow.
However, it was not, like the actual novel. It was like a picture book that just kind of walks you through the basic story of the movie.
Right. Cool. Did you read a lot when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Now.
Did
Yeah.
What was? Go ahead.
Oh no. As your first book was Dracula, and you read a lot. So as you kept kind of going through the progression of aging up into reading, you know how your book taste change, and you actually work your way up to books with all words. Once you got to that point, did you progress upon the same like path? Were you fascinated with vampires because of your first exposure to them, or did you kind of divert out and come back to horror?
I feel like I oftentimes do have love for vampire fiction. I really can't say I've read anything good lately when it comes to vampires. But yeah, I love vampires. Pretty much as I progressed up, I also went into, for a while there's good old Hardy Boys, and then I went back to Stephen King, and I fall a lot into when Stephen King releases a book, I'm reading it within a week pretty much. So can't really say. I mean, I read a lot. Well, I should say that I've gone on to I do a lot of Audible books a lot. but
Right. I can't do those. They drive me crazy. I know a lot of people love them, but I don't know. It's like if I see something move,
10.5 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I would zone out all of a sudden because the TV at my house is always on. And so when I read, I have a habit of tuning everything out around me. And in fact, my brother has been standing in front of me talking to me, and he'll have to tap the top of my book or my iPad screen or whatever to get my attention. And I'm like, what? And he's like, did you hear anything I said? And I'm like, no, and so it doesn't.
Well, see, I never claimed to be a good truck driver.
Oh, God.
I never claimed to be a good truck driver. Whatever happened from point A to point B, I can't remember because I was reading a book. All I know is I got to where I needed to go.
Well, that's all that matters, and nobody stuck to the front of the truck, so you're all right.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much all you can ask for,
right? Mm-hmm.
Now, when you were in high school, and you know how they force you to read books, what was your favorite book that you were forced to read?
Probably of Mice and Men.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one'll hurt you if you don't approach it with caution. That one'll break your heart.
We had one that I hated, but we read The Red Badge of Courage, and then I switched, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And then I switched schools middle semester, and they had just started reading it.
Well, see, you'd already read it, so you didn't.
So I had to read it all again. I hated that book. I hated that book with a passion.
I was pretty sure it was a required book to read at one point, but I also don't think I actually read it. I was very good at faking a lot of things through school. So,
unfortunately, both my parents were high school teachers, and if I had a book that I had to read, my mother would read it and then ask questions. So I didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
And I could have faked it through class, but not faked it home. So.
She studied the Cliff Notes and asked you questions you specifically couldn't answer from them.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started to notice an interest in writing?
I'd say probably I must have been doing handwriting stories at a point because I know something must have prompted my parents to give me a typewriter when I was about 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Because they got me a typewriter for Christmas, and then, from there I just remember getting up early in the morning when I'd hear my dad getting ready for work, and here I'd did get up, turn on the typewriter, and just start typing away. And I'd do just these one-page short stories that were pretty much a lot like that Dracula picture book. I felt like there was this great, story all fleshed out, but man, how did I get into one page?
That's cool. So who is your favorite author? Who inspires you?
I feel like it's almost a cop-out to say Stephen King, but I mean,
no, it's not.
Absolutely not. I'll take it a step further.
I read one of his.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'll take it a step further, and I was gonna ask you why it was Stephen King and what your favorite novel by him was.
Yeah.
My favorite novel by him will always be The Stand.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
As to why him, I just love how he gets into the characters, and it doesn't matter how long. He just goes deep into the characters, and you feel fully brought into the story. That whenever I read one of his books, it instantly just inspires me to just keep going and keep writing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Now, if you could meet,
oh, go ahead.
if you could meet any author, living or dead, who would it be? Would it be Stephen King?
Yeah. I mean, I've met most of the rest of my horror heroes, so he's about the only one that I haven't knocked off the bucket list there.
Cool. Now, besides writing, do you have any other creative talents? Do you draw or?
I definitely can't draw. No.
Me either. Graphic art is a little different.
Yeah. I did not do well when I was trying to be a filmmaker, so I think I'm just going to stick to writing.
There you go. Is there anything that you won't write about?
There are. Some of them, because of the personal theme involved, I actually won't even go into that. Right. But yeah, there's definitely some ideas right now that have been floating around my head, that stories that I've thought about writing, but I actually am too afraid to write them, would be the right way of saying it.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of personal reasons around that, yeah. So that I won't even fully go into details about it. But yeah, there's stuff that I won't write.
Okay. That's pretty normal too.
Yeah.
I hear that a lot, you know. What attracted you to writing horror? Why horror?
I like to scare people.
Spiders do it. Okay, so my question
I almost feel like. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Say it.
I almost feel like with the spiders, that are under your skin, eat you from the inside out, and you can't see them until you're already infected with them. So those little fuzzies you feel on your arm as they're walking on your skin and you can't see them yet. I almost feel like when I wrote about something that creepy, that I almost crossed the line, because almost any time when I'm at a convention or trying to sell my book to people, they're like, "Nope, too scary, not touching it."
Well, it's
so I almost feel like I crossed the threshold.
It's almost like a primal fear. Spiders are notorious for being just something that mankind has always kind of wrestled with. Even the meme of a spider with wings is just terrifying to people. They're just like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. Give me a flamethrower. Call Elon.
Yeah.
No, I am. If I see a spider, I'm screaming, naked, on fire, beating the hell out of myself, running down the road. No.
Now, what did we tell you about threatening to be naked doing anything?
That pictures art didn't happen. I know.
No. You have to behave. Stop it. This is YouTube.
You told me I didn't. You lie. Oh, speaking of behaving,
yes.
Did anybody notice that we're missing someone tonight?
Who?
Mr. Deadman.
Well, no. Where?
Oh, he's not missing. He's just trapped in my basement.
Wait, what?
No. What? That's not what I was told.
I mean, if he's there,
Yeah.
What happened? Why am I here if he's there? What?
We have a problem. We have a problem.
After the show.
Well, see, we got a ransom letter today. It looks like
it
that.
It had a picture with it, right? I think I have that picture.
Yes, it did.
Do I
You
need
do.
to? Should I
Yes.
pull that? Okay, I'll find
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
Go ahead and talk. I'll find that picture.
Okay. The ransom letter. It seems that the midgets that Mr. Deadman keeps. Okay. The midget that Mr. Deadman keeps in his basement. It seems like they might have revolted and have taken him hostage. And they're demanding money. But, we have a strict policy on our show that we don't cave to threats. And so we're not paying. We're not paying.
Right.
But,
No, you never.
So we have church. So, I don't know what to tell you, church. The midgets are kind of mean, so
Oof.
You may be with us a while.
Oof. I mean,
I'm kind of worried.
Well, I mean, they sent us this
image. Did you see what they did to him?
I think I did.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. I think I found it. Is it not? I think it's. Oh no. Are you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should be.
The Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well,
that's what we got.
I posted it in our group, and people commented on it, and so we decided to kind of use it to bring awareness and to Deadman's Tome, and because Mr. Deadman would like that, and so we made it a caption contest. So I'm gonna read you all the captions, and you all get to pick which one is best and wins, and we'll give them a free ebook.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is Little Bunny Foo Foo, the superhero the world deserves. The second one is Spider-Man in disguise.
All right.
Yeah, they love to tease me about spiders. The next one is this from Eyes Wide Shut remake?
Oof.
Ouch.
Oof.
Yeah. The next one is Bunny Man wasn't Batman's greatest foe, but he owned the ladies.
Nice.
The next one is you know where the egg is. The next one, he's got Bunny Davis eyes.
Yeah.
The next one is Mr. Deadman. I want to see that fluffy tail. Rawr. I like that one.
All right.
Here comes Jessie Cottontail tripping down the bunny trail. So we have to pick one, and unfortunately, we can't pick he's got Bunny Davis eyes because that was from SK. So and SK is on the show. Yeah, that one was really, really good. I did laugh.
It was.
But I do have another favorite one. Well, I have two really, but you two pick. I'll let y'all pick since I know who wrote what. Little Bunny Foo Foo, the superhero the world deserves. Spider-Man in disguise. Is this from Eyes Wide Shut remake? You know where the egg is. Bunny Man wasn't Batman's greatest foe, but he owned the ladies. Mr. Deadman, I want to see that fluffy tail. Rawr. And here comes Jessie Cottontail, I can't talk, tripping down the bunny trail. So which one?
I think I tripping down the bunny trail.
All right,
He'd be tripping.
I'm gonna go with Eyes Wide Shut. So that'll leave you as the tiebreaker.
Damn it.
Yep, we did it to you.
See, why do you all do this to me?
Because
okay, pick a number one or two.
Give it to chat. Let chat pick.
3.
No. 17.
No! Damn it!
Let chat pick.
All right, chat. Number 1 or number 2?
Which one's number 1?
Number 1 is this from Eyes Wide Shut remake? And number 2 is Here Comes Jessie Cottontail, tripping down the bunny trail. And that's really a kind of a tongue twister if you think about it.
Not really why I like it.
Do either one of those entries have more likes or smiley faces than the other?
Oh, that's a good question.
Ooh, that's good.
Yes.
Which one?
Is this from the Eyes Wide Shut remake?
All right.
Oh.
We have a winner.
I can see him as trying to pose as Tom Cruise and failing miserably.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh yeah.
Deadman, we wish you safe return, and although we will not negotiate with the midgets, I am assembling a squad to launch an attack, and I've already said too much. They may be listening, but we're coming for you, buddy. We're going to get you out.
You're assembling the dwarfs from Middle Earth to go after midgets.
Yeah, but we're giving them all bunny tails and big ears.
Well, the lore behind
exactly.
The lore behind my character is I'm actually a sentient church that's a transformer as well, with a beard. So, I mean, if you see a building walking towards you, you kind of just shit your pants and run away, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that would be kind of strange. All right, let's talk about some of the news articles that we've got real quick.
You had a couple of things you wanted to talk about. I believe we had a deep web conspiracy theory tinfoil hat website app to talk about.
Yeah, that is. You know, I installed this on my phone just so that I could see what it was about.
Yeah, I've got it.
Actually, some of this.
I've got it loaded in OBS here. Let's just wait for the stream to catch up. But go ahead and keep talking. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Actually, some of the things on it are kind of interesting. Some of it is just like, yeah, right, whatever. For example, there's a whole bunch of different articles that you can, read about on here, on this app. For example, the 12 types of light workers changing the world, how to join the Illuminati and other secret societies, 10 evidences prove that Area 51 aliens are real, how to hack your brain, the 10 most disturbing and damn it, I can't say that word. The 10 most disturbing and strange science experiments ever conducted. 10 horrific acts that are legal in some countries. Now, right. I clicked on that because I wanted to see what it was.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to read the list of them real quick. I won't go into them, but.
All right.
Number 10 is cannibalism. Number 9 is necrophilia.
Okay.
Number 8 is bestiality.
Oof.
Yeah. Incest.
Oof.
Female genital mutilation. Rape.
Ugh.
Castration.
All right.
Judicial corporal punishment.
All right.
And slavery.
Oh well, it was good knowing you, YouTube. I had a great time. Jason, I appreciate you being with us here for our last show, and I'm sorry that the Deadman wasn't able to be, but now that we've talked about this, YouTube is definitely going to nuke us from outer space.
Nah.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, it could be worse. It could be on Facebook, and Zuckerberg would be shutting it down.
Oh, you mean that the lizard guy wearing human skin?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about the lizard people?
Another one of the things is no. One of the other ones is 5 areas your life Satan wants to enter.
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell? I mean, some of the stuff is kind of bizarre, and some of it was just downright hilarious. One of them is Hitler didn't die.
All right. Is he hanging out with Tupac and Biggie?
He's still in his bunker?
Yeah, sure. Sex robots. You can learn all you ever wanted to know about a sex robot.
You can do that in Japan.
Don't tell Jesse that. He'll be looking it up.
You can do that in Japan, people.
10 creepy things social media does to control your mind.
Farmville.
But anyway. So anyway, if you and the reviews for this app are just amazing on here. Most of them love it. I mean, there are
a handful of low reviews, but most of them are like highly praising, and most of the low reviews are like the grammar's bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, and you expected what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On to the next. What about the witches? You want to talk about the witches?
The witch's mark.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
Okay.
Witches mark protected spaces from evil. Markings carved in the Cresswell Craig's Cave near Cresswell, England. Good God, people. Were long overlooked as idle graffiti. Then a couple of visitors noticed they had distinct formations. They were on a recent cave tour when they recognized these were witches' markings designed to ward off evil. A new tour of the cave highlights what's believed to be one of the largest gatherings of ritual protection marks in the country. Although these particular witches' marks were ignored for years, these kinds of markings are not uncommon on medieval and early modern buildings in Great Britain. Most date from the 16th to 18th century at the time of heightened fear of witchcraft and a supernatural presence of evil. They are also known as demon traps to turn away witches and demons and devils and all kinds of things.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my.
Oh shit.
Oh my.
Yeah. Damn it. They were
Thank you, that doesn't
witches' marks were architectural spells cut or burned into home entry points like windows, door places, and fireplaces. By the later 16th century, iron firebacks were provided to radiate heat and prevent damage to the back wall. As they became a standard feature in homes, they were often adorned with marks such as M and VV invoking protection from the Virgin of Virgins, the Virgin Mary. These Marian symbols are also some of the most common scribed letters to be found on hearth beams, doors, and around homes. And those are also said to be marks of protection. So it's just talking about.
Surprised by this?
No, I'm really not. But it was, I just thought it was pretty cool that they found a whole cave where, these were, and that nobody realized that that's what these were. I mean, how many people have been through the cave and all of a sudden somebody notices this?
Well, what?
Now, is it protecting it from evil, or is it locking something in?
Well, that's a good question.
Where was this cave located exactly?
England.
No, where?
Cresswell, England.
Cresswell. Okay. So we've got these things, and this looks like it's written on. This almost looks like it's written on leather instead of like a wall or anything like that.
That is inscribed in the cave wall.
But doesn't that look like
just the lighting makes it kind of.
It does look like an piece of leather or jawbone of some kind of animal or something.
Well, it looks like a piece of stretched hide that's been burned. Doesn't look like a wall that's been scratched. The wall that would been scratched would be indented, not exteriorly dented. You wouldn't scratch away the exterior. That doesn't look inscribed. That looks burned in, like scarred almost.
No.
I mean, that's
just. You can kind of see where it's got like the markings from being scratched in, especially on the almost like the eye symbol to the left there. You can definitely kind of see the scoring. How it's.
Yeah,
how they kind of chiseled it out there. Yeah.
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 Maybe so. I don't know, but I just can't figure out how they never knew.
Well, I mean, it looks like
what those were.
Well, it looks like there are threes and parts of the Greek alphabet. Like these look like derivatives of symbols that we know. There are only a couple that are really kind of unidentifiable. Like the 7 with the crescent moon. I don't quite get that. The W's are all crossed. You've got an I with an extra bar through it. But, I mean, for the most part, it looks like something that's derivative of the Greek alphabet with a numerical system.
Right.
So,
I don't know. I can't read it. I can just. I don't know what the letters and numbers and all that stuff mean.
It says someone's sending you an outfit tomorrow, and they'll be outside your window the following day to make sure you're wearing it, like we were talking about earlier. And I think the last line.
That was not.
Well, I think the last line also means phallus.
Damn it. Oh, shit. Oh, God. No. The dress will be delivered to Mr. Deadman because that's where his super fan sent it.
Yes, but he's not here, so you.
He really did. I'm not kidding.
He does behind closed doors.
Yeah, well, he wore it. It was really a hijab. Is that how you pronounce it? A hijab, a habib, or whatever?
Oh no. We gotta stop. We can't.
Yeah, well. Well, that's. Oh no, we've already talked about all this. Believe me, more than once.
I just don't want to be responsible.
He put it on, but he did. No, you won't. It's my fault. He put it on, and but he wasn't sure how to wear it properly. So, I did look up directions and send them to him.
He didn't doodle
Whether he ever
Muhammad,
tried it
did
again, I don't know.
he
Huh?
he didn't doodle Muhammad, did he?
I don't think so.
Okay, as long as that didn't happen. All right, Jason. Before we get too far off track and just completely lose ourselves, what are you thinking about the witching carvings?
Like I said, I'm wondering what's trapped inside there. This saying it's trying to ward off evil.
Well,
I think it's trying to keep something in.
Looking into it, it says the direction of the burn marks show that the symbols were placed before the timber was laid, and the tree ring analysis dates the timbers to between 1605 and 1606, around the time of the gunpowder plot, the Guy Fawkes V for Vendetta thing, where he attempted to blow up Parliament and kill King James I, and that was probably also pretty synonymous with the time that they were burning witches at the stake. So,
yeah,
people could have actually believed they were witches because they were being persecuted as witches and maybe trying to protect themselves and all of that good stuff.
Oh no, yeah, realistically, yeah, that's they're trying to ward off to keep them from getting in. But I just like the creepier idea to see what's actually still in there.
Oh man, if they're
trying to, the horror writer in me.
If there's
wondering,
if there's anything in there, man, I don't want to know what it is. Like, if it comes out of there,
let's not break the seal.
Yeah, well, that's already happened. They've already disturbed it, like King Tut's tomb, man. It's already out. The cat's out of the bag. The ghost is out of the shell. We're doomed.
Yeah.
We're screwed. Anyway.
But no.
Okay, well, the next thing is I am so sick of hearing about this man.
Yeah.
So sick of hearing about this man. I'll let you all guess who it is. Who do you think I'm sick of hearing about in the news?
I don't know. Does he particularly care for Subway sandwiches?
No. No.
No?
Does anyone?
Probably not anymore. Since he got beat up outside of one.
I don't know. He got paid for that.
Yes.
He paid for that though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he can pay for a lot of things.
I mean,
he's still gonna be paying for something.
He couldn't pay for a freaking Uber to the goddamn Subway.
I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Publicity.
All right.
Y'all guessed it. Jussie Smollett is back in the news.
Smollett. That's how you say it.
Smollett.
Smollett.
Whatever. Potato.
Tomato. Felon, convict.
Yeah. Robbery. Yeah. Chicago warns Jussie Smollett repay $130,000 in 7 days or face prosecution for lying. In a letter written by the Chicago mayor, senior legal advisor, Smollett is accused of making false statements which led law enforcement to divert resources from other investigations and undermining the criminal justice system. Smollett reiterated Tuesday that he was innocent of staging a racist and homophobic attack against himself in downtown Chicago after the Cook County State's Attorney surprise decision to drop 16 felony charges against the actor for filing a false police report on the incident. Speaking outside a Chicago courtroom, he maintained he had been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one, which is not true. Because first of all, he said they were white guys that attacked him. And then it changed.
Let me stop you right there. He explained via his prosecutor earlier this week that they could have been wearing whiteface.
Yeah.
His
really say that?
His evidence was the fact that one of the brothers was involved in a video where they were doing a Batman and Robin or Batman and Joker like soliloquy or something like that, and one of the brothers was wearing really bad Joker makeup with the white base. I think I'm
Shut up! That is not right. That is funny.
I'm gonna quote Ethan Ralph from the Ralph Retort and say that even though we're called white people, we're not actually that color. We're a couple of shades darker, folks.
Right.
Yeah.
So your Joker face paint it doesn't fit the narrative.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Also, what happened to MAGA country? What happened to that?
Right. Exactly.
Anyway, continue.
Smollett is requested to issue an immediate payment of the $130,160.15 expended on overtime hours in the investigation of this matter to be made within 1 week.
That 15.
So in other words, pay us and it all goes away.
That 15 cents was the extra cheese on somebody's Whopper with that 15 cent. That was the important part.
I wanna see everybody's paycheck stubs that worked on this case.
They all got bonuses right before the case got sealed. That's where the money came.
I want. Yeah.
But in any regard, I think $10,000 is a little too cheap to get away from 16 felony indictments, right?
Yeah, you think? The letter continues that if the actor doesn't resolve the amount owed to the city of Chicago Corporate Council, he could be prosecuted by the Department of Law and slapped with a fine up to $1,000 plus up to 3 times the amount of damages the city sustains as a result of the violation. City officials say at least $150,000 was spent on the case.
Yeah, well, we all know why Chicago's called the Windy City, right?
Yeah.
Because it blows?
It has nothing to do with all the wind. Ouch.
Because they're full of shit?
No,
just the politicians.
I just said because it blows.
That's what I mean.
But no, the thing is, you know, now you have Donald Trump and you have the mayor of Chicago and you have the police chief of Chicago who strikingly looks like Carl Winslow from Family Matters. You have all of you have all of these people, and then you have the federal government looking into the fact that we still have the fake mail that was sent to him where he was being shot and hung simultaneously. I mean, that seems like a little bit overkill to me. So it also looked like it was drawn by a 6-year-old and it was written with magazine letters. Can we remember that something confiscated from the brothers' homes were magazines? That was released to the public. This is now a federal investigation, and the Department of Justice is involved. I don't think we're done hearing about this yet, so strap in, boys and girls.
Oh, God.
Can it all just go away?
Please, I'm so sick of hearing about him.
It'll go away.
Make it stop.
It'll go away when we transfer back out of Clown World, which we have been in for, I don't know, roughly about 2 years now. Ever since the president got elected and Trump derangement syndrome set in, I mean, we have lived in Clown World where things that should never have happened have happened. And
I just wanna go on the record as saying that if I had done this
Well,
and said that people beat me, that I lied and said people beat me up and all this stuff, and they had 16 felony counts against me, I would be in prison.
well, I mean, maybe they would give you the same deal where you could just pay $10,000 and get away with it. Now I can kind of go back in time and give you a little bit of the full narrative, but basically the story goes that somebody connected to the Obamas and somebody connected to Kamala Harris contacted the prosecutor, and then she had to step down, and then somebody else took over the case, but then all the charges got dropped by the court, and then there are potentially leaked messages stating that there was some form of collusion that went on between the person that contacted Kim Foxx, who is a family friend of the Obamas, and the Smollett family. But that's just hearsay. We don't have any solid proof of that, but that's what they're talking about around the water cooler right now. So when you have connections like that, it doesn't matter what you do. It's the message they're sending, which is why we have the Department of Justice and the FBI involved now. But on the bright side, if this actually does go through and he does get prosecuted because he may be guilty, and we still have to maintain the assumption of innocence because this is America, if he is guilty and he did do what they say he probably did, then he is looking at about 3 times the amount of prison time, and we're talking federal prison instead of club fed. 2 different things there.
Right.
For mail fraud and, committing a felony case of fraud, wasting resources, wasting FBI time, obstructing justice, a lot of things. He's looking at about 5 to 10 years in jail at minimum if he's convicted of what they're trying to charge him with.
Well, I hope they figure it out in a hurry. I'm tired of hearing it.
Oh, absolutely.
But it looks like to me that this says, are they still going to do that if he makes this immediate payment?
Well, I mean, this is just
or does it all go away?
Well, this is just from the city of Chicago. This has nothing to do with the federal investigation that he's involved in.
Oh, okay.
The city of Chicago feels robbed because they spent that much money in time to try and investigate the situation, which resulted in 16 indictments from a grand jury, and then were immediately sealed and dropped. So that was essentially wasted time and effort on behalf of the Chicago Police Department, and it made them look like idiots.
Right.
I mean,
yes, it sure did.
It doesn't. Yeah,
no, go ahead.
I'm not gonna say that.
No, absolutely.
Have
the floor.
I go to Chicago too often to say what I was about to say. Nope. Not going to say that. I go to Chicago too often.
Well, I'll say this, that the Chicago mayor and the Chicago chief of police were outraged at the decision of the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, I knew that they were, and I was really shocked when I read about that. Really sad.
I mean,
I'm going to put it back on the
everything
bunny
I've
face
been
to cheer
reading,
everybody
following
up.
on this, everything I had been reading about this, I thought for sure it was a done deal and this was all going away, and then boom, this happened. It's like, holy shit. So.
Well, and the amount of people trying to
defend
defend
I thought it was all over too.
The amount of people trying to defend it is what really terrifies me about the situation. You have prominent actors coming out. I mean, It
In
does.
today's
Environment, is that the proper word?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it does. It terrifies me in today's environment because I come from an older school of thinking, I guess you would say. But
Right.
it does terrify me to think that we have a justice system that can be bought and paid for, and that justice is no longer blind but is stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can't say it. It's a new role. I mean, it's almost always been that way. It's more transparent now, and less people care.
I think that's what's so offensive about it, if you ask me. The fact that they'll wave it right out in front of your face now instead of hiding it like they had the decency to do in the 80s.
Right.
2016.
Yeah.
I mean,
No doubt.
even under the Clinton administration, they tried to start sweeping that shit under the rug because he got a BJ in the office. Nowadays, they're just walking around flaunting.
Yeah.
No, we'll just strip you of your civil liberties. That's fine. We don't care. We'll make special amends for
Right.
people that have lots of money and know people in high places. That's fine.
Get them into college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll blatantly admit that we're letting people buy their way in, even though everybody already knew it. We're just going to come out and say it and lose every bit of credibility we ever had.
I think that's what shocks me most about that story is that people are actually surprised that this has been going on.
I mean,
well, hell yeah, it's been going on. How do you think all these colleges got all these special wings and whatever built in libraries and all that stuff?
Right.
I mean, they were
Stone,
smart enough back then to call it donations.
yeah, I mean, you know, when you get on Facebook nowadays and the stoner in your ninth grade freshman class is now a lawyer that graduated Harvard, you go, how the fuck did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look his dad up on Facebook and you're like, oh, that's how that happened.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. All right, Jason, so we have one more question for you. Are you ready?
Shoot.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Halloween original.
Ah.
Ooh, good
Nice.
choice.
Nice.
Good choice. I actually have a secondary follow up, the very last question for you. Again, as the guest host, I'm a comic book guy. What's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Nice.
Oh. No spiders.
He does whatever a spider can.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
We don't have the money for that song.
Oh my god.
Oh crap.
No. You can sing Spider Pig.
Yeah.
We don't have the money for that either.
That's that one either. Now that Fox is owned by Disney.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt.
We don't want to get copy struck.
Oh man.
But no.
Sorry, Jesse. We loved you.
I have definitely enjoyed talking with you, sir. We definitely appreciate your time and your putting up with our shenanigans. Jesse definitely
absolutely.
He definitely wished he could be here. He talked about it for a couple of days before he went quiet. And we're gonna get those midgets. We promise. Excuse me. I'm being told by the chat that the appropriate term is vertically challenged. We're gonna get the vertically challenged tribe.
Yes, it is. Yes. Can you call them a tribe?
I'm made out of Native American bricks.
Organization.
No, I'm made out of Native American bricks. I can use tribe. I've got the tribe card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can. You can.
That works.
Yeah.
No. Group.
You have to apologize for using
Group.
tribe.
I'm so sorry. No tribe. I shall not say that again.
Anyway.
I told Justin I would be good, and here I am being evil.
It's fine. We're actually never gonna find him because
It's your default setting.
Anyway.
I'm hiding.
No, sir. It was great having you, and we look forward to your
yes,
future
and please
projects.
promise you'll come back again.
Definitely, anytime.
Right.
And you all make sure that if you like the show, give it a like and a share. And if you didn't like it, please give it a like and a share anyway. And make sure that you all go to Amazon and pick up a copy of Jason Davis's books and make sure you leave a review.
Absolutely. And
definitely.
And we'll get his link to his Amazon. And do you have anything you wanna I mean, I guess shamelessly shill before we jump off the air?
Yeah, actually, if you visit jasonrdavis.com, make sure to have the R in there. Jason R. Davis.
Right.
My latest book, Dead Friends, I've actually been posting that free, the rough draft, for people to read online, chapter by chapter. I think we're up to chapter 45 or 46 now. One of the exercises I started when writing this book is to make sure it's going to be one of the longest books I've ever written. And so right now, already what's posted online is longer than any of my previous books.
All right.
Cool. We'll have to check that out. And I just posted your author page in the chat, so that will be there.
And I will paste your website there as well, right behind it.
Thank you.
And Church, thank you so much for
nope.
filling in for Mr. Deadman. It was a pleasure.
No problem. I quite enjoyed it. Thank you guys for putting up with me.
Anytime. All right.